Yeah, you're describing a double bind there, where you have something, you have a problem of some kind, or a project of some kind, or a goal of some kind, makes you anxious. So you work hard on doing something about the anxiety to manipulate the anxiety because you don't like the anxiety, and you want to do something about that. Of course, the more you try to do something about that, the worse it gets. But then what happens is that you give up, and instead of working on your project, you're putting all your effort into where it's not needed, and and you put things on hold that require effort. So we get we so double binds go into something that's also very damaging. I think of it as disequilibrium, which means lack of balance. Too much effort into something that doesn't require effort, too little effort into things that require effort, and very little in between. uh, this lack of balance results in people feeling trapped again. You know, not only that, they put their lives on hold, and they think that by putting things on hold, they're going to be better off, but they're not. Uh, in fact, putting things on hold results in the worst cases results in what you can call stagnation. People become stagnant, and it could be a very generalized stagnation where everything is stagnant, and people become housebound. They can't work. They can't have relationships, or it could be partly stagnant. People stop doing things that they really want to do. So the solution to this, first of all, clients need to be aware that they're doing this, and they're usually not aware that this is happening. They think that their excesses are okay, because they're into all or nothing thinking. So once they can see the damage that all or nothing thinking causes, they can then try to find a way to redistribute their efforts. So when they're in a very effortful place, trying to control emotions, they need to try to not do that, to do less of that. Now, less of that doesn't mean do nothing at all. It just means less. But to clients, it doesn't mean less. It means go to the opposite extreme. And when they're in the opposite extreme, they need to do more. They need to work on whatever it is that they need to do that brings purpose in their lives, that makes them earn an income, all the things that are good for us to do that are on hold. They need to do more of these, and they need to do it gradually because the avoidances could have happened for a very long time, and people get really stuck in the avoidance, in a place of stagnation. So it needs to be done slowly and gradually, while at the same time they're trying to be okay with feeling the way they're feeling and not trying to manipulate their thoughts and feelings, until they reach a point of balance where they can navigate this intermediate place where they're not either putting too excessive effort or excessive lack of effort into their lives, where they're well balanced. Well, let's say somebody is depressed, okay, because they don't like their job, and they want to get out, but they can't, and they can't get out of their jobs, and they want to stay in their jobs. The disequilibrium happens when they're feeling trapped, and then they're trying very hard to control their depression. They do everything they can to not feel depressed. But they haven't made sense of all this. They don't know why they're depressed. And they can't see the connection between that and their unhappiness at their job. But at the same time, they need to work on the problem rather than put it on hold indefinitely. Because people who are suffering from job burnout do that. They just become paralyzed, kind of, and they put off working on their careers indefinitely. They're sort of on hold indefinitely. So the challenge is to encourage them, for them to encourage themselves to start working on finding solutions to their unhappiness at work. That's where the effort is needed. For example, they can find out what they can do. They often tell me, yeah, but I don't know I can't do anything else. This is the only thing that I know how to do. Well, have you tried anything else? No. But what they mean is that they can't do anything else perfectly, you know. So, well, can you do something imperfectly? Can you find a job for now that is maybe doesn't pay as well as the old job, but that gives you more satisfaction? I never thought of that. You know, I want a job that gives me where I can make a lot of money and be very satisfied and have a great boss and so on and so forth, which is very unlikely. You know, who has that? You know? So, and at the same time, encourage people who are depressed to make sense of why they're depressed and to not see that as an abnormal consequence of where they're at. People who are trapped, who don't have balance in their lives, who are feeling, you know, the double binds, are in a very bad place. And if they can make sense of that, they won't be so alarmed. They'll say, well, I know what's going on, and I need to sort of start working on my beliefs. For example, that I have to find the perfect job right away, or else I'm not going to leave. Or I have to get rid of my depression, or else it's going to last forever. No, you can be okay with feeling depressed. And in fact, the more you practice that belief, the feeling of depression is normal. And in fact, in this case, is very healthy. You know, it's telling you something. It's telling you that you're unhappy about where you're at in your life and that you need to do something about it. It's informative. And it also guides you. Tells you what you need to do. Is to work on where you're stuck. They don't go slowly because they're told, their culture tells them that going slowly is losers do that. and they don't put, they have to put a lot of effort into that. You know? And of course, the more effort they put into it and the faster they go, the more they're promoting the problem. You know, if they sort of chill out and get going in a casual way, but in a concentrated way and in a deliberate way that involves a lot of problem solving and goal setting and so on, but in manageable increments, they will get there. They won't have the perfect solution, but they'll have a very good one.
Is there such a thing as a perfect solution?
No.